Hell, everybody, and welcome back to Stalking About Blood, the only podcast about to be slashed more than the Cardinal payroll. My name is Exterminate Heininger, and I am haunted by my co-host, Ben the Goo Samorka.
Hey, Nate.
If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. Got it in one ham bone.
What is my name? The Goo?
The Goo. Yeah.
It's not even a play on my name or anything. I thought you were going to get me something.
Well, I was thinking about you, and I'm like, what sort of horrible thing does he embody?
I think
naturally the Goo came to mind.
Sickle Samorka or so. There could have been. I mean,
Sickle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Goo was pretty evocative. Pretty
all
good.
Right. Yeah, I'll. You seem like you need a win today, so I'll just drop it. It was great.
I do want to shout out. We actually had a number of suggestions sent in over the last 2 weeks. Some referencing that, like the Cardinals, we took time off in October.
Yep.
Which is a good bet, and another one referencing the now classic Bill slapstick bit from last week's episode.
People like that,
which I know. Of course, people like that. I know it wasn't a crazy shot in the dark to make a joke about Ohtani doing something crazy and like just predicting it. But I gotta say, it was pretty exciting when he actually had like a historic, maybe the greatest postseason game of all time.
Some people are saying.
I don't know how you argue otherwise. Like I saw some people doing some like WAR calculation, and there are certainly some games where like a 4 home run sort of thing might have technically accrued more WAR in a single game.
That may be true on a WAR calculation, but I do not buy that from an actual value. Like he won the no. That is I say yes.
I agree, because also WAR doesn't consider in what having the same guy does to your bullpen management, your starting rotation management, all of that sort of stuff. Like I'm fully convinced it was the greatest postseason game by an individual of all time. And then when you add, like, even if it was game 1 of NLDS, I would say that was the greatest postseason game of all time. Then you add in the fact that it was the clinching game of the NLCS. Just truly incredible.
I think arguably one of the best single game performances of all time, irrelevant of situation. You add the situation in, it is just unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, it's the there was a game earlier this year where he threw like 7 innings, 12 strikeouts, and 2 home runs or something like that, which you could argue was maybe.
You gotta get 3 homers though. You gotta get.
I'm always saying that. That's exactly how I feel too. You gotta get 3 home runs. But pretty incredible. But we'll talk about the World Series and all that later this episode. And we are here in the midst of spooky season. Happy Halloween to everyone tomorrow if you're listening to this on launch day.
Wow.
But Hambone, you're back from your big excursion across the pond.
Oi, bruv.
Oi, bruv. I mean, people gotta know. Did you eat the jellied eels?
No, couldn't find it on a menu.
You couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it on a menu.
What a disappointing outcome to such a high intensity story.
I will say if I was willing to kind of hijack the trip and travel far out, we could have gotten it, but I think like we were a little more interested in going to like the French patisserie than getting a cab out to pretty far away 100%. To eat some jellied eels.
You've made a commitment to dozens of us that you would eat jellied eels.
I don't know if I did. I think I had they been presented, I would have eaten them. But
Akira should have found you.
There was many puddings of various blood quantities and stuff like that were eaten. So it's not like I was
spooky.
Yeah. pudding. It's just pudding everywhere. That's all they eat is pudding.
I think there's like a bad teeth joke here if we're in like 90s British comedy, right?
That's very good, Nate.
Yeah, thank you. Well, what was the weirdest pudding you ate, I guess? What a good question.
I guess I didn't know what a Yorkshire pudding was until this, but it's just like a popover with some gravy in it. Also, a pudding is everything. Anything can be a pudding. Everything is a pudding. If it's a dessert, it's a pudding. If it's something that's baked, I think it's a pudding.
Cheeseburgers, also a pudding.
We were calling everything pudding by the end of it. Yeah, I had some pudding fish and chips, which was great. I had some pudding Indian food. It was everything was pudding. I might be pudding.
The goal.
There we go.
See? Nailed it. Well, it's okay. So didn't get the jelly deals, ate a lot of pudding. Sounds like a wonderful trip. Any other highlights that you got to talk about?
We drank quite a bit. Pubs, whatnot.
Yeah.
Lots of whiskey. Driving on the wrong side of the road.
Because of all the whiskey?
Because of the whiskey.
Drunk driving, not funny.
Yeah, going over a mountain pass in the middle of the night on the wrong side of the road. Ireland is the most beautiful place. I mean,
let you keep one of the lambs. I saw a picture of you holding a lamb. Did they let you keep it?
They did not let me keep it. However, I made sure to eat lamb that evening so that, to balance things out.
You're so inspired, but you're a monster. Spooky. All right. Halloween is upon us. Hambone, this was pointed out in the Bird Score, and I think it was a great point. You seemingly expressed interest in Halloween, and in fact, maybe even an enjoyment of it. But it's quite surprising because in years past, we've learned on this show that you hate holidays, you hate fun, and you hate children. So, I guess does the candy outweigh does being in the presence of candy outweigh the all of your other hatreds and make this sort of a neutral event for you, even a positive one? Or where does the joy of Halloween come from?
Yeah,
is it all the sexy costumes?
I like the sexy costumes. I like the candy. Obviously, a huge win. The fact that you can be mischievous is very good.
Oh,
I like that you can. I like being bad. It's fun to be bad.
Yeah.
Some people say
sometimes it feels good to be bad.
I like that. We have some decorations up. I have a skeleton. You have a skeleton sitting on your porch all year round, but we have a skeleton sitting on our porch.
We do. Its name is JoJo. Thank you very much.
Ours is named Steven. We have some
great because we have a close friend named Steven who is at your house often as well. Is this is this what you desire for
it's
Steven
his skeleton? To be? Yeah.
Nice.
And I think I've talked to you about this. I have a desire to be the house with the best candy on the block. Right. I'm in a new house. This is my first time having Halloween at this new place. So I am hoping that I can set the reputation that we are the house with the full-size candy bars. And if children come, I'm going to up it to king size next year. But I want to be that house. I want to be that house that kids
money bags over here. Am I right, people?
So I will go into debt because I feel like you remember, even like as a 30-year-old adult now, I remember going to the house that had the king size Snickers or Three Musketeers. Like I think that is a noble goal. I want to aim for that. I don't want to be the house that hands out pennies. So we'll see if we have kids that go trick or treating in the neighborhood this year. So that is good. And then I'm also, my yearly tradition is we go see that Itch.io band, which is a weird Denver thing that's basically like a satanic drum line. So we're doing that again this year. So it's mischievousness, it's the devil, it's candy, it's
Hail Satan.
Bones, all of those things kind of align with my wants and needs.
I'm imagining Hambone here with his package full of king-size candy bars, kids knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell, and him sitting there going, I don't know why no one's showing up, as he unwraps his third Snickers of the night. Well, I guess there's just no kids in this neighborhood.
So 2 years ago, that happened, except for minus the kids. 1 year ago, we were out and I did the big bowl with the candy and I put the sign up, please take one. You know, we have a Ring doorbell camera. And I think the
Sure.
third set of kids that came, I watched their mom instruct her 3 kids to just dump the whole bowl in their cases. And I was like, well, I just bought one family.
Mischievous.
Yeah, well, yeah, but come on now. You gotta spread the wealth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not cool. Ours is like the opposite. We go to my sister's house for Halloween festivities. But we are a very decorated Halloween house, so we feel bad that like we obviously are supporting Halloween, but we're not there to give out candy. So we do the bowl out front. But there's just like no kids that come by, so we'll have the camera as well, and we'll see like 3 kids come by and politely grab a few pieces. So we've written on the thing like take as much as you want, because there's no one coming. So. Just grab some, and even still, we come home to a big bowl full of candy, which is of course great.
So if you live in St. Louis and you're listening to the show, just drive around that. I don't even know how to. Well, you like the Grove area,
St. Louis. We'll just keep it at St. Louis.
And you could really have a windfall.
Look for a house with skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like eagle-eared listeners can kind of pinpoint where you're at.
I'm pretty sure I've said like my exact intersection at some point on this show.
But you can stumble into some candy if you got good timing.
Yeah. Well, I guess happy Halloween to everyone again. Good luck out there if you're out there retrieving candy. And to any of our international folks, if you do not celebrate Halloween, be the change you want to see in the world. Go to your neighbor's house, ask them for candy.
A lot of spooky decorations throughout UK and Ireland, which I was pleased to see.
It is spreading.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, it's been in a lot of the Western countries for a while, but it is not an inherently like international holiday. But it is becoming more and more that, which is fun. It is like, I don't know that I would necessarily say it's my favorite holiday, though it probably is, but it's certainly the best one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like by far the most unique and most fun, at least as far as United States based holidays goes. There's some really fun ones in other countries. But as all of ours are mostly dry and stodgy, and this one is like the complete opposite of that. So, and there's baseball during it.
Hey,
so let's talk about
win.
baseball. Yeah. What do you want to talk about? We're still in the driest part of the off season typically. So what do you for teams that are not in the playoffs, of course.
Right.
What do you want to talk about with the St. Louis Cardinals this week?
Yeah, we do have a little bit of news, mostly along the health and wellness side of things. Brendan Donovan underwent a sports hernia repair surgery on October 7th.
Spooky.
No kidding. It cut blood and guts, cutting them open, putting things back in, taking them out. I don't even, know.
Wow.
But pretty low key, not a big deal. Nothing I'm really worried about. I think something that we've been talking about, and there was an article, I've seen a couple of articles actually this week, at least coming back and catching up on my baseball items, talking about Brendan Donovan as, the probably the rock star trade candidate for your St. Louis Cardinals this offseason. I guess the good news is this surgery shouldn't affect his general standing with the Cardinals or the league at large. He should be back and healthy, and he had a strong year last year. But yeah, I guess that's really all that's worth talking about is that happened. And I guess the trade conversation has also been happening recently around him.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot, and will continue to over this offseason. I've said it myself that I will be upset. I will be sad from an on the field standpoint for 2026. But I'm a pretty big supporter of the idea of trading Brendan Donovan.
It makes a lot of sense.
Assuming proper valuation and the return is what you would expect from a guy like him. So not a dump deal, but an actual value for value trade makes perfect sense for this team in our current status. If it doesn't happen, it's not going to be like how we felt about Ryan Helsley being like, why didn't we trade this guy?
Yeah.
It's silly. He's still on the team. I will be happy to watch Brendan Donovan on the team next year and all that. But he makes the most sense.
There are so many factors of why it makes sense too. It's like his age,
Right.
his positional flexibility, the fact that he gets on base, which you can predict that that's going to be something that is just pretty steady Eddie as far as production is concerned.
Yeah.
And he's like really good, but he's not a superstar. So it's like a guy that he will, I think, get you a haul, but it's not like a back-breaking move for whoever tries to trade for him. And like I said, he can kind of fit in most teams. So it seems very obvious for him to be traded at this point.
I also think it'd be very likely for some teams to, I think, accurately feel like they can get more out of Brendan Donovan than the St. Louis Cardinals have based off of park factors, which we're going to talk about later. But having Brendan Donovan hit in almost any other stadium than Busch Stadium may solve to some degree a bit of that power that we wish he had. And so you could see a team that is in competition that has a better offensive environment thinking, we're going to have to pay for this guy. But like you said, we're not going to have to pay truly elite trade package prices, but we might get a little bit more than what we initially asked for, what he's done in the past. There's a next level for him in a different ballpark with a different surrounding and offensive environment.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. Like, we as Cardinal fans have to be ready for that, for him maybe to go and, I don't know, hit in the Yankee Stadium and hit 20 home runs for the first time, and suddenly eclipse the 4 WAR sort of thing.
I think it's funny you say the Yankees because I think he is going to be a Red Sox.
That's another one. Yeah,
obviously Bregman's going to free agency. You slot him in at third base. I think he probably hits really well in that ballpark. And he's kind of Red Sox-y. Like, I think the Red Sox fans would really like him. I could see them trading for him, extending him another couple of years, and that working out really well for hopefully both teams. And obviously we know about the Red Sox farm system, so maybe we can pluck a guy or two out of there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So where this started, though, sports hernia, it's kind of a standard thing in the sports world, which sounds horrible.
That's why they call it a sports hernia.
Yeah.
Ivan Herrera had surgery on his elbow on October 15th to remove bone spurring. That sounds a lot worse.
Bone spurs.
Is that just because of the word bone?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the whole episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a really
spooky.
good one. I got a really good one coming up next. We already talked about it, Ivan Herrera. He's going to be on a normal catching program once he heals up. All right, I want to hear you do this one, though. Lars Nootbaar was also among the players that underwent surgery this month. He had heel surgery, Nate, to help correct Haglund's deformities.
Haglund's deformity. Yeah, that Haglund's deformity sounds like a creature that has been made by Haglund, right? Like Frankenstein's monster, Haglund's deformity.
Yeah, to me, it evokes like there's something like another head growing off of his back or something like that.
Sure.
But what I had to look it up because what the hell is that? Haglund's deformity is a bony growth on your heel bone where your Achilles tendon attaches to the bone. So he's got like a almost like a cowboy spur type thing growing on the back of his heel, which I hate.
Ouch.
I hate that. I hate that that's happening. And I guess they're getting shaved off. I don't know. It just sounds rough.
None of this sounds good. I mean, giving it a name like Haglund's deformity also, like we hear about bone spurs all the time, but they aren't, which also is in of itself sort of a creepy thing that like your bones just growing little guys off of it. Like one of those little guys doing there. But this is Haglund's deformity.
Yeah. But it also, I thought was, like I had to go, like the article was like, oh yeah, he got surgery for Haglund's deformity and moving on. It's like, well, what the, what does this mean? Is he a superhero now? Is he dying? What's happening here?
I think it's bad. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and is this part of his struggles this year? Is he's had this deformity?
Yeah.
Or is
Yeah,
it just
well,
a thing that you're like, whatever.
that's maybe more importantly what we should talk about. So obviously, like there was some pain, or there was something going on, or this came up in a body scan. But like, it's funny that
Body Scam. It's like a B movie horror film.
I would
Body
watch it.
Scam. Yeah,
Um,
freak.
yeah, we talked like he had his most healthy season of his career, 135 games played. Obviously, it was not a supremely successful season,
Yeah.
because of everything else. But then you hear that he's getting bone surgery at the end of the season, and you wonder, like, okay, well, maybe he wasn't feeling great. Maybe there was something wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe his Achilles were being Haglunded or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
what
Haglund's
is
all up in there deforming shit.
right? But kind of bizarre and makes you wonder, like. He Lars Nootbaar said that he was surprised that it led to surgery. So I'm guessing it was like maybe more nagging and less super painful. And turns out, he's got the Haglund, so they got to operate. But
Gotta
interesting
get it out of
situation,
there.
and I wonder how it colors his 2025, like in the broader context.
I guess we won't really know that unless he suddenly has a fantastic 2026, and we can point back to something saying like, well, it turns out that nagging heel deformity turned out to be an issue that was more impactful than I thought it was at the time. Like I couldn't put pressure on my foot like I was meant to, and I didn't realize it until I didn't have old Haggy down there fucking things up.
He had a career high in games played, career low WRC plus, career low base running metrics, career low offensive WAR, career low defensive WAR, and a career low WAR total. So like, it helps explain that a little bit because like 27-year-olds typically don't fall off a cliff.
Right.
So I'm hoping.
But you could certainly see if
Haglund.
there's some subconscious blocker to putting weight on that foot that he doesn't really.
It was both heels, by the way. Both heels.
Both heels.
He's got double Haglunds.
Well, that might explain why he was running the bases on his tiptoes the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. I think we all thought that was strange at the time. But
if you go back and listen, we brought that up several times throughout the season.
We did.
But
why is he in the box on his toes?
Yeah.
Why is he running there's no one looking at this.
Yeah.
I think I actually said it looks like Haglund's deformity.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play the tape real quick.
Play the tape.
So anyways, we'll shut up.
Spooky. Did you guys hear that?
I'm going to lose it on you this episode. I've had it up to here. All right, bench coach Joe McEwing and the Cardinals mutually, Nathan. It's not me, it's you. Agreed to part ways.
That's what mutually means. Both guys pointing to the other one.
We both hate each other.
We both think it's you, the other one, yeah.
I don't think this was so mutual. I think this was the first axe that Chaim Bloom drops. Yeah.
Yeah. Heads will roll.
And Joe McEwing only lasted one season with the Cardinals. As far as coaching is concerned, he's on his way out. I don't know if I have any hot takes on this or not, but I guess hopefully a interesting, smart person comes in to take that role. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's Yachty.
Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting. I never know. Like the bench coach position, we so rarely have real exposure to at least maybe this is a blind spot for me, but like I don't really know what they're doing most of the time other than sitting there advising Ollie. And so we don't really have any read on the quality.
Painting.
What? Painting, yeah. Bring in hors d'oeuvres.
There you go.
We don't really have any insight into the quality of anything that they're doing. We just kind of know who's there. And I guess like John Jay and Descalso have been pretty public. But that's partly because of their reputation and their Cardinal background and whatnot. But even still, I don't really know anything about the quality of their output. So whenever you hear about this, you're just like, well, I guess they identified something wasn't working, or he decided he didn't want to do this anymore. Cardinal guy, so that's how you always wish them well. But yeah, maybe this opens the door for Yachty or Albert as coaching jobs continue to dwindle, and he's not one of them.
I feel like I feel like it's very unlikely he would become a bench coach. You think he would do that?
I think unlikely, but if he was going to do it anywhere, you could they would be the Cardinals. But because you could make the same argument for Yachty. Would you see Yachty as a bench coach?
He's so focused on development and like the catching position specifically in game man. I could that makes more sense to me. That
Sure.
Albert just sucks up so much air in the room that him being that's the difference with obviously Albert is a better player and a more famous player, but Willie McGee, is from Cardinals perspective is as big as they get. But he is low key, he was fine being in the shadows. Albert Pujols just can't not be the most important person or the most gravitating person in the room. It's hard for me to imagine him taking a backseat.
Yeah, just I don't because I don't think from a personality standpoint, right? He's a relatively quiet guy. It's just
he's
this dude
Pujols.
hit 700 home runs. Yeah.
He's one of the best right-handed hitters in the history of the game. It's just that.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to talk to Albert.
Sure. Play the
and here
game.
He is.
Yeah. Spooky. I guess we'll see where he lands if he does with a job. But Yachty as bench coach, I mean, there's now an opening. Although they can do whatever they want, right? They could bring in Yachty also and hire another bench coach.
You could have 26 bench coaches if you wanted. You could have a coach for each guy. I said, why not?
They should have a guy for each guy.
Do you think we will get to that point? As they keep, why not have a guy for each guy? He's nutrition, strategy, bench or everything. Just have that, him focus. It's probably be a waste of resources, but why not? You got money.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a guy for each guy, but that one guy has multiple guys. So you want a dedicated guy for guy, a 1-to-1 guy-to-guy ratio.
Why not?
Yeah.
Maybe because then you start diluting the quality of your guys. So then is our 25th guy, is he really that good? Oh, sorry, John King, you got stuck with this bum, but you're kind of a bum too.
We should also say, or gal. Okay, or we use
person.
Y'all. We use the y'all. Yeah, we have a y'all for each guy. I mean, do you need a sole guy to be the one nutritionist for this one guy, or they can?
I'm not talking about
have
efficiency, Nate. I'm talking about getting the most out of your players.
We'll probably find out that this is exactly what the Dodgers are doing, and we just don't know that.
Yeah, they probably got. I mean, Conforto, what is he doing? He's just a guy in there now. He's a guy hanging out.
Yeah. Does he got a team of guys?
He could. He's getting paid $17 million this year. He could afford a couple of guys.
Yeah. We're job creators here on Talking About Birds. Sorry, Stalking About Blood. That's what we do here.
All right.
All right. Moving on. So we have talked about this a little bit. We had a request from a listener that we do sort of a post-mortem on the season and how all the Cardinals who were traded away fared. We've talked about it a little bit here and there, touching on each of them individually at different points in this offseason and as the season was wrapping up. But we're going to honor that request and go into each player specifically and talk about their second half results and maybe some broader context as to what that means for them and maybe even the Cardinals a little bit. So, Hambone, do you want to kick us off?
I can't believe you're not starting this first one. Ryan Helsley.
Helsley. Yeah, it's a spooky name.
Man, you really fleshed that one out. That was my favorite one yet. Ryan Helsley obviously traded around the deadline to the Mets. He pitched 20 innings for the Metropolitans. And Nate, it did not go super duper well. He put up a 7.20 ERA over that time. He had a 5.19 FIP, and his home run fly ball rate went from 12% to 19% over that period of time. What is interesting is that his pitching metrics, like all of the stuff plus, the location plus, all of those things, they didn't change at all. He did start walking people a little bit more. It went from it was about 8.5% to almost 10%, but really a small bump. It's interesting.
And over 20 innings, that's like maybe one more walk or two, a point and a half higher over 20 innings, like negligible.
Yeah. So obviously that 7.20 number over 20 innings is bad. Really not what you want. Obviously not what the Mets traded for. The Cardinals, I think it's easy to say, won that trade. He gave up more earned runs in his 20 innings with the Mets than he did with his almost 36 innings with the Cardinals. 12 with the Cardinals and 16 with the Mets.
If the Mets had not have traded for Ryan Helsley, they might have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know who would have pitched those innings in his stead. They might have also gotten blown up or whatever. But, like, this was rough. And he blew several games, and they missed the playoffs by, one game?
Yeah.
So, woof. So
And you have a Ryan Helsley in the bullpen that you just traded for. You traded a prospect that you like for him. And he's had years of success. He's one of the best relievers in baseball over the last 4 years. Of course, you're going to keep throwing him out there because you're thinking to yourself, well, he's not going to be bad again.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is it's hard to argue with any of the process from the Mets here, right? Like, they paid a pretty good price for one of the best closers in baseball, and used him repeatedly during their playoff run, or their run to try to make the playoffs. Like, I don't know. I didn't watch those games close enough. Maybe there were some usage patterns with him that you could criticize, or maybe you need to pull the ripcord on a guy faster. But again, he's been one of the best relievers for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty fair to assume, like, this can't last. But it looks like ultimately he gave up more dingers, which is maybe a product of the ballpark that he switched to. Who knows? But it's all small sample size.
You may remember there was also a story about him potentially tipping pitches, or he felt like he was tipping pitches, or the Mets felt like, or there was some of that scuttlebutt going around. Whether or not that's the case, I don't know. I'm not John Boy. Go John Boy those, or John Boy, go John Boy those. But it's interesting, and I think it begs a question. I was reading an article in The Athletic by Jim Bowden this morning, and Jim Bowden was projecting that Ryan Helsley is going to get 1 year, $10 million. In my opinion, that number is that number because of those 20 innings with the Mets. Are you buying or selling that his free agency has been affected, what I would say pretty dramatically, by those 20 innings in a Mets uniform?
I think there's no question that it's impacted his offseason value. I don't think you can go through such a high profile destruction like that. The biggest team, the most expensive team, the one that has so many eyes on it around making the playoffs and or not making the playoffs, and them missing it, and it being one of the things they can point to is you and your performance. I cannot see how that doesn't impact something.
Yeah.
Right. Because you could play it the other way around. If he had gone to the Mets and excelled and they made the playoffs, would that not have significantly increased his value?
Yeah.
Absolutely it would have. So if it would increase it, it certainly would reduce it. Now, to go all the way down to 1 year, $10 million, which is less than even like middling setup guys are getting now, or like long relief guys are getting now, I'd be surprised. Someone is going to look past the high profile meltdown, see the broader numbers, see the history of success, and be willing to be actually probably excited about the discount from that collapse.
Yeah.
But I don't think it certainly, he's not going to get like a 5-year,
No.
like whatever deal he might have gotten where he's now been signed by X competing team and they've locked him in as their closer. I'd be surprised. But a more mid-market team that's looking for value on a back end rotation or bullpen piece, I think absolutely. But I cannot imagine 1 year, $10 million. Every team that plans to win in 2026 would want that, and that would in and of itself create a bidding, like an increase. I think. I mean, we'll see, but I'm almost certain it'll be better than 110.
I fully agree. I think 110 is insane. I do think 1 year might be the case because he might want to go establish his value.
Sure.
And then sign a multi-year somewhere. But I think maybe a 1 year, maybe with a player option, in case a little added security in case he gets injured or something like that, makes sense. But I agree. I think it'll eclipse 10 million, and not by a ton or anything, but that just seems really light. I could see a team like the Rangers going out, getting him a 1 year deal, 2 year with one of those being a player option, 22 million or something like that. So he gets the large guarantee and has a parachute and can go reestablish his value if he needs to. But I thought that was interesting. I thought that was shockingly low. I also think that there's just like a value on relief pitchers, that has existed for a while now. But I think Jim Bowden is missing the market value on that. And I think if he wasn't throwing 99, if that fastball wasn't carrying, if the slider wasn't doing the thing that it's always doing, if he looked like there was something wrong with him, sure, 1 year, 10 million, but he was still looking healthy, still throwing hard.
Yeah.
Everything else was still there.
Yeah. And spooky name. I mean,
yeah,
that adds a couple milli.
If he becomes a closer again, like I know that Yohan Duran got to keep his closer's entrance when he went to the Phillies. I hope the Cardinals, wherever Helsley lands up, if he is the closer, I hope the Cardinals give them that package or whatever that intro. I guess they wouldn't want to use the Cardinals red though, would they? Although the thing is hell.
It's hell.
Is it more Cardinals red or is it more hell? Or is it both?
I think it's a deeper red, I think.
Okay. I've never seen it in real life.
Oh, it's fun. A night game with him coming in.
Ooh, sounds spooky already.
It's good. It's a really good one. So I would imagine that I think a new team could just probably make it themselves. They probably don't need to get the package from the Cardinals.
But maybe they do though,
Yeah, maybe you were right the first time.
All right. Let's talk about Phil the Thrill Maton. As we stated multiple times, arguably the MVP of the first half for your St. Louis Cardinals. One of the better signings, I think, in all of baseball, just from like production. If $2 million, you got this. It was just a steal. Obviously, Maton was great with the Cardinals. He threw 38 and 1/3 inning, was striking out over 11 per 9, put up a 2.35 ERA. Every number you look at is just fantastic. When he went to the Rangers, he threw 23 innings, put up a 3.52 ERA, had a 2.70 FIP, and he actually improved his walk and strikeout numbers after leaving the Cardinals. But, Nate, his home run fly ball rate also jumped from 4% to 12%. So he was mostly a better pitcher, but he's getting doinked for dongs quite a bit more than he was with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Seems like there's some sort of trend developing here. I don't know, but I mean, what I think Phil Maton has done is certainly ensured himself a pretty good upcoming offseason. Certainly out of the Cardinals' price range. I wonder if the Rangers will try to keep him, but he was really good this year, and that he did have some high-profile blow-ups with the Rangers as well, but the underlying numbers there added with his Cardinals numbers showcase just a really, really good year.
Yeah.
By a still relatively young, I mean, he's post 30, but like, we've said it a dozen times. He's throwing well and he's healthy. So he's a healthy pitcher. Don't worry about age. I imagine he'll get a pretty good deal.
Yeah. He put up 1.6 FWAR as a middle relief pitcher, which is
That's
very good.
Lot.
Yeah.
He was acting as the Rangers closer for a little while. Some of those high profile blowups had him kind of enter into kind of a closer committee. I don't fully know how F4 calculates like the value between pitching in the 8th inning and the 9th inning. I'm sure it has some degree of that, but he was acting as a closer for a while, and he was also, picked up some saves as a Cardinal too.
Right.
So I imagine that helped with the F4, just the leverage situations that he was in. But 1.6 is really good for a reliever.
It really is. Yeah. I hope he makes some money. I like Phil.
He's like not that far behind Alec Burleson.
Yeah. Well, that's more of that's a compliment and a smack kind of at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting, right?
Let's just build the whole team out of Phil Matons.
Why don't they make the whole team out of Phil Matons?
All right, now we're going to get into a little bit worse news. I suppose it's still interesting, I guess. Steven Matz, he is a Red Sox. Well, he became a Red Sox. As a Red Sox, he threw 21 2/3 innings. Shockingly, I think from the outside looking in, this number really surprised me. But his ERA was only 2.08. However, with your Red Sox, he put up a 4.84 FIP. That is very interesting. He really had a problem striking people out with the Red Sox, only a 14.5% K rate. And again, his home run fly ball rate went from 7% to 19%. But he somehow lucked into a 206 BABIP with the Red Sox, which I think really, really made those 21 2/3 innings look a lot better than they were. If you look at the metrics, he's not striking guys out. He's getting hard contact. They're going to the fielders are in the right place. Even with that low ERA, Nate, he accrued negative 0.1 FWAR with the Red Sox.
It's pretty interesting. So still giving up a bunch of hits, giving up those home runs. F4 is recognizing that while the ultimate result might have been pretty good more often than not, the every other result on the field was pretty rough.
Yeah. And I think his baseball future is a huge question. Like, he'll probably be a starter somewhere. Like the Rockies, the White Sox, the Nationals, a lot of bad teams with no
There's
pitching.
always a job in Colorado.
He could absolutely use a Steven Matz, and maybe he could, stay healthy and be a starter again. But I guess we'll see where that goes. But the more interesting thing that I found looking at these numbers, and you were calling it out, but every one of those pitchers' home run fly ball rate increased after leaving the Cardinals. Obviously, huge caveat, we're talking about a total of 64 2/3 innings, so it's not a huge sample size. That's basically one reliever, a good reliever's entire year. But I thought it was interesting, and it begs the question: are the Cardinals pitching? Is it the Cardinals who are good at limiting home runs on fly balls, or is it the ballpark? And the StatCast park factor for Busch this season was dead center 100. That means it played super, super fair on the whole. It's in line with Comerica Park and Rogers Center as just being a fair ballpark. However, the home run factor was the 24th lowest in baseball, just ahead of Kauffman Stadium, which I think of Kauffman as being pretty cavernous, right? It's one of the biggest outfields in baseball. It's got a high wall. The wind comes, they have a low stands out there. The wind fights balls down. So I thought that was really interesting. And there's also like park factors aren't an exact science. Like the Cardinals didn't have an especially powerful team. So that could be part of the reason why that park factor is so low. But I think it's an interesting thing to think about. Like, is Busch playing? Do you feel like, just anecdotally, like it felt like it played big this year? Or did Arenado make it look like it felt look like it played big?
Because the Cardinals in this stadium have had many very powerful teams,
Right.
even as recent as 2022, with sort of a high level Arenado and a high level Goldschmidt, and Tyler O'Neill. I think all three of them had over 30 home runs. So it is not a type of stadium that is so suppressive that they just cannot have big power hitters in bunches, and that's just a recent example. That said, it certainly seems this is not the first year that home runs are suppressed across the league in Busch Stadium. I think there's no question that it is a more difficult ballpark to hit home runs in than other stadiums, at least on average. And so then when you add in a team that's going to inherently struggle with power, it makes it even worse. This was a bad year for power for the St. Louis Cardinals. We had one guy get to 20.
God,
I know, and I don't know how different that would have been if they even if we played in Yankee Stadium or the Athletics' current stadium, which is like a AAA environment. I do think we certainly would have hit more home runs. That's actually like available out there. Someone could overlay. I think you could do that, and it'd be interesting to look at if every game was played in Athletics ballpark instead of Cardinals ballpark, how many more home runs would the Cardinals would have had? It certainly would have been several. But I think it's more the team comp. But this pitching, I mean, that is a small sample size, but 60 plus innings, it's not a miniature sample size.
No.
And every single one of them, their home run fly ball goes up. It could just be, the stadium's bigger. You're a little more comfortable pitching to fly balls. You go to another stadium, you pitch to fly balls, you get a little unlucky. There you go.
Bad things happen. Right.
Bad things happen. I don't know. I'm kind of going in circles here, but ultimately, I think we have enough evidence at this point to say that Busch Stadium suppresses home runs.
Yeah.
Now, is that like you play 81 games in it, but you're also playing other teams 81 games in that, and teams have had success in everything, in every type of ballpark factor, except for Coors. And I think, to me, it's less about, some teams that, Orioles have moved in the walls, or you increase the walls, or whatever you do to try to make it more conducive to what you're trying to build to. But as the Cardinals are now kind of in rebuild mode, it makes you wonder, well, do you just build to that? Do you either go extra heavy into power to make up for it, or do you build pitching more to lean into it and suppress home runs, and you go more right now? Everyone's talking about the Blue Jays for good reason. Their team is built around batting average and batting average on base, and then power a little bit.
Right.
They certainly have some
and defense,
right? That's the whole narrative of this World Series has been that everyone on the Blue Jays lineup has a good chance to get a hit to get on base,
right?
And then they just string them together, and then Vladdy hits a home run, but he didn't even hit that many home runs this year. He hit 23, I think. So that's how they're building it, and maybe that makes sense for the Cardinals. I think it's a part of your strategy, but I don't think it's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems like the Cardinals were probably leaning into their ballpark with signing expecting a lot out of, old man Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, and maybe even to some extent Eric Fetty, expecting that to keep going. But yeah, it'll be curious to see. It'll be curious to see how that plays out during this rebuild or retool or whatever the hell. I also wonder, like you brought it up already, okay, well, if I'm a team looking at Brendan Donovan and I have I play in Cincinnati or a ballpark that's a little easier to hit it over the wall, maybe I'm projecting this guy as a 20 home run guy, and maybe that makes him look more attractive. I think you could say the same thing about Lars Nootbaar. He's a tweener kind of power guy. I wonder if he gets a boost by getting out of Busch Stadium, and maybe other teams are thinking like that.
I think you'd have to be.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. And I think that can be a good thing for the Cardinals because you could have, I kind of already said this, but you could have a team look at Brendan Donovan or Nootbaar or whatever and dream on them even more, despite the fact that they've got a couple years of service at this point.
Right.
Normally when you're trading for a guy who's been in the league 3+ years, you're kind of like, we're hoping to just get what he's been doing.
Totally. Yeah.
But if you go for Brendan Donovan and you're like, well, we play in Fenway, we think we're going to unlock something, and this is going to be a great trade for us, And I would assume the Cardinals will know that too, and be able to leverage that in any sort of discussion.
I really see Brendan Donovan like just banking 40 doubles off the Green Monster and having a great season, which will be annoying, but it is what it is. All right, let's talk about a couple of less exciting players that I just thought would be fun to check in on. Eric Fetty obviously left the Cardinals. He threw 101 2/3 innings. He put up a 5.22 ERA, accrued exactly 0.0 FWAR over that time. Dead zero. Not even a hair the other way. He went on to pitch for the Braves and Brewers. He accrued 39 1/3 innings over that time. He raised his ERA to 6.18 during that time and put up a 5.37 FIP. He accrued negative 0.1 WAR at each of those stops.
Rough. And let's point out, 0 WAR at 100 innings is not good.
Yes.
It's good that it wasn't negative.
Yes.
But that is well below average. You do not want to play for an extended period of time and end up at 0.
Kind of staggering that he could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. You would think it would go one way or the other.
Right.
The only thing that I'll say about this is, well, 2 things. One, it's disappointing. We all had very high hopes on Eric Fetty this year, and the path to the Cardinals actually competing in 2025 was partially paid through Eric Fetty being good and like he was in 24, and he was not, and it really hamstrung the team in a lot of different ways. So that was disappointing, and seemed like a cool guy and like a cool story from going overseas, coming back. You always like that, so it was very, very disappointing, and you hate to see it. And the inverse of that, though, or not the inverse of it, but I will say selfishly, I was glad that when he went to 2 teams that I consider good at developing pitching, he went and struggled even more at those teams.
Yeah.
So it was at least like, well, okay, at least it wasn't another example of the Cardinals being bad.
Fumbling.
At fumbling it, because it would have been so disappointing if he went over to the Brewers and then he is back to being like a really good starter, and they extend him for like $3 million or whatever, and all of a sudden we're being fucking shut down by Eric Fetty for the next 3 years. So I hope he comes back well and all that, but I'm glad that he didn't immediately bounce back with the Braves or with the Brewers, particularly with the Brewers.
He threw 177 1/3 innings in 2024, and he put up 3.4 FWAR, and he accrued negative 0.2 FWAR this season. For not being injured and playing, being healthy the entire season, I'm guessing that was probably the worst fall off from 24 to 25 of any player in baseball. I don't have the numbers to back that up, but that is a 3.5 WAR decline from performance,
and still playing all year.
Right,
that's an interesting number. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look at that a little bit more, but that has certainly got to be one of the top.
Yeah. All right, and last guy I wanted to check in on, Lucan Baker. He is with the Dodgers AAA team. He managed a 125 WRC plus over 33 games with the Doyers. Never cracked the big league club. And man, watching these Padres at-bats in the World Series, I'm like, bring up Lucan. What are we doing? I think he could put together a better at-bat than Padres. Now, he can't play center field.
Right.
But
Padres was pretty good at the major league level through most of 2025. But
sure.
I hear
I'm just
you.
saying, though, if you want to secure this win, you got to get Baker on there.
We've seen other teams, I always think it's interesting when the Guardians did it this year with Chase DeLauter. Whenever a team
makes his debut,
has a prospect, makes his debut in the playoffs. I know it wouldn't be a debut for Lucan.
Dodgers debut.
Dodgers debut at the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know what that does from a service time standpoint. I assume that's part of it. But it's interesting for a team to be like, you're not ready for the big leagues in September. And it's like, the playoffs, though,
Yeah. You got this,
we need
buddy.
you.
Yeah.
You got this. But I mean, it's cool for the player. What an interesting experience.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. Lukin 125 WRC plus, pretty good.
Unleash him. Let him go.
Yeah. Unlukin the Baker, I think you
That's right.
have said before, which makes a ton of sense and is consistent.
Everyone gets it.
Yeah, it makes sense. So that's it. So that is at least the majority of the players that left the Cardinals at the trade deadline and across the board took a step back in some way or another.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But I don't know. I mean, what's your, like, now that we're 3 months after it, I guess what's your review of the trade deadline? I mean, I know we won't know overall, like, because it's a lot of prospects. We'll see how that all develops and if the Cardinals got good returns for him. But, like, how are you feeling about this trade deadline now, 3 months later?
I think I felt pretty good about it at the time, and I think I still feel pretty good about it, especially when you're seeing some of these end-of-season write-ups and the way that the Cardinals system is being praised across the industry. Like, part of that is because of those guys that have been added to it over the last 3 months. Really excited about the shots. Baez from the Mets, he's a very interesting, probably like high variance player. Interesting arms, some big guys from Texas that are in the system, and acquiring guys that strike people out is good. And pair that with Liam Doyle and JJ Weatherholt. And obviously we're feeling pretty strong. So feel pretty good about it. And, the same caveat of, I wish we would have cut a little bit deeper. But as this offseason slowly rolls along and the World Series is being played, it seems, at least the narrative around the team, is that we are going to get some deeper cuts and we will have some real change. So where I'm sitting right now, I feel good. I hope we keep digging,
Yeah. Same. And we'll continue to cover it all off season, hopefully here in the next week or two after the World Series is completed, which will be any day now.
Yeah.
Teams open up and bigger moves are made and we may see some November surprises from the St. Louis Cardinals, which I'm excited about.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about the World Series a little bit, some other league news, and play a little game. But before we do, we want to remind everybody that this show is listener supported on Patreon. Patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. Patrons of any level get access to the Bird Squad. It's our private Discord server. It's been a lot of fun to watch the playoffs in there with the group. Live chatting as the games are developing. Let's go Birds. There is a Bird team in the World Series, so we are supporting us, and the rest of the world except for California are supporting the Blue Jays.
I think just LA County, really, like
LA. Yeah. Although I bet Japan with Ohtani.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so we've been having a lot of fun, and you know that as soon as any real Cardinal news comes out, it's going to be posted there quickly. So it serves as a way to stay in touch with Cardinal news without having to constantly check some other shitty social media or whatever. So talkingaboutbirds.com, you can see links to that there, or patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. We also appreciate anybody who takes a moment to review us on their favorite podcast platform. That helps a ton. It really does. It only takes a minute or two, so thank you. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your friends' family. Wear a shirt. Go to the mall. Eat at Taco Bell. Eat at Arby's in the Cincinnati area.
It's just consumer. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Tell every kid at your Halloween. Give them little cards that say, listen to Talking About Birds. You know the stuff. The standard stuff we all do.
That's a good idea. We need more kid listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we need. That would be good for everyone.
Yeah.
Hambone, where else can people find us online?
Yes, we are on those socials. We are on Blue Sky, Instagram. We have a TikTok. You can listen to the show on Spotify if you'd like to do that. You can also watch this show. Nate, we record it can look at our faces and our eyes and our noses, ears, mouth, so on and so forth on YouTube,
etc.
Check it out. You can find all of the podcast information, socials, where to listen to the podcast, YouTube, T-shirts, everything at talkingaboutbirds.com. You can email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. And of course, you can call us and leave a voicemail or send us a text message to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
The holiday season is about to be upon us. Maybe you have a family member who would like a shirt that says, "I enjoy watching baseball." It's a good shirt. You can find that and other things on our website. So,
wow.
Yes. And again, thank you to everyone who sent me opening bits this week. Keep them coming. They are always fun to receive. All right, Hambone. Game 4 of the World Series has just concluded. This World Series, it's had it all, has it not, Hambone? What a series.
It's got a little bit of this. It's got a little bit of that. They're going left. They're going right. They're going up, down. Hey, Macarena.
An 18-inning game in the World Series.
I'm not going to lie, Nate, jet lag. I fell asleep on the couch.
Yeah. I made it to like the 12th inning, I think, maybe 13th, and I was like, I got it.
I woke up and my TV screensaver was on, and I was like, I should go to bed.
Yeah. Probably most people did. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. One of the best baseball experiences of my life was being at the Cardinals 20-inning game against the Mets back in like 2010, 2009, maybe. Being there for the entire game was incredible.
No doubt.
So I'm sure that I'm for real, and I'm sure there's some fans that were at that game. That was just like, what a experience. But yeah, I mean, the series is tied, which is, I think, better than most people were anticipating. I think most people, myself included, had predicted a Dodgers steamroll, maybe win in 5 games. They obviously can still win in 6, but either way, no matter how this goes, you can't say the Blue Jays haven't made it interesting and haven't made it a fight. Their wins have been quite dominant.
Agreed.
And they've looked good. And obviously that 18-inning game is fluky. It could have gone either way. So the Blue Jays are standing toe to toe and looking really good. So I'm hopeful that we get a Blue Jays win in 6 or get a good Game 7 at Rogers Center.
Yeah.
No matter what, the season is ending at Rogers Center, which we all predicted. So just a really good series. Ohtani doing his thing. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Like they could lose the World Series and he should probably still win World Series MVP. But it's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I was reading that this is the first season, I think in the history of the MLB, where the season will start and end not in the U.S. It started in Japan and it will end in Canada, which is kind of
now that ain't right.
Fascinating. Yeah, Bad Bunny, so on and so forth.
I was about to say we got Bad Bunny in baseball, not in America.
Except for I think my favorite part of that whole conversation is that Bad Bunny is actually American, which is just
I know it's
beautiful.
Oh, what? It's hypocritical and stupid. No, I can't believe that.
Yeah. What I was gonna say though, to not bring that up, is that what I'm really enjoying about this World Series is the fact that the good players are playing well. Mookie's kind of digging himself out of a little bit of an offensive hole, but obviously Vladdy and Ohtani are, at the top of their game. Vladdy's looking great. Ohtani's looking otherworldly. Vladdy's so fun to watch every night. He is such a good hitter, such an interesting player, such a fun player to watch. I think the fact that you're getting performances out of Ernie Clement and Addison Barger is really fun too. And then it's still, Freddie Freeman is, Hall of Famer doing his thing.
Yeah.
And Bo Bichette, I think, getting, the funny thing about the George Springer injury is a pretty big deal, especially with the season that he had. If you didn't notice it, I'm sure you did, Nate, but if you didn't notice it, George Springer had one of the best years of his career this year. He goes down with the oblique strain. We don't know if he's going to be back or not yet. but they could just plug Bo Bichette, who I think is an excellent hitter at the DH spot. He has a couple of big hits last night. But yeah, I think both teams are fun to watch. Both teams have a lot of players that I like. I haven't even said Alejandro Kirk's name yet. The fact that Kirk is doinking him is he is the player that I want. I want every player to be Alejandro Kirk. I love him.
Make the whole thing out of Kirk's.
Exactly.
Just like my starship. I said it earlier in the season that I think Addison Barger is going to be a star.
Yeah.
And this is certainly helping. The dude plays defense well, hits the ball supremely hard, and is now having some big moments in big situations. That grand slam, pinch hit grand slam. I mean, come on.
I don't think I realized
the first ever.
I don't think I realized how good of a runner he was. Also, he's fleet of foot in the outfield and on the bases. He is toolsy as hell.
And I think he's 25. This is his rookie year, and he's doing all this. So I'm a big fan. I think he's going to be good, really good for a long time.
Yeah. Another thing that I think is worth bringing up is the fact that how many complete games has Yoshinobu Yamamoto thrown this this playoff run? He just had one in the World Series. He threw one against the Brewers, and is there another one?
He had back-to-back. He had back-to-back complete games, which hadn't happened in the postseason since like 2001. I don't know who it was, but it's 2001, so it's probably like Randy Johnson or Kurt Schilling or something like that. And then the big story is he was getting ready to pitch in the 18-inning game, even though he had just come off of a complete game. He's pretty good. I'm also a big fan of him. And I know he's been a little wild, but like, I just love watching Roki Sasaki pitch. I mean, it's kind of bullshit that they have him. I know you talked about that, but like, he's just so like the whole motion is wild. He throws the ball so hard. He's got that insane leg kick, like
he looks like
just
Jack
really
Skellington.
Yeah. I really like watching him pitch. Some people say easy 100. He somehow makes it look like the most difficult thing in the world to do while also doing it very easily at the same time.
Yeah.
It's so lanky and kicky and all that. But I just really like watching him pitch. So it's been fun.
I also just want to mention Max Scherzer's name. He is kind of like the last of his generation, and the fact I was just very pleased that he went out and had an effective start, kept them in the game. They won the game. That makes me happy. I hope Scherzer keeps pitching until his arm falls off. But if you think about it, like the generation of him and Verlander and Kershaw, sitting here today in October 2025, he's the best. He's the most effective out of those right now. Now, he might not be tomorrow or next year, but he is right now. And that's a lot of fun.
It's fun for the game that there's these guys, this bulldog or whatever, he's yelling at his manager, keep me in, coach. Like that is there anything else like that in sports? A starting pitcher yelling at their manager to stay in the game?
I don't think there's anything in like the fact, like the whole old school starting pitcher thing of like, don't talk to me when I put my headphones on. That includes the manager. Stay out of my way. This is my game. Yada, yada, yada. I don't think that exists anywhere, period. Like I've never heard of a workplace or another athletic endeavor involved in something like that. So no, I think it's great. And it will be sad because now we have all the, everyone's like Tarek Skubal will be like, hey, I'm done, coach. Which is probably the smart thing to do. But from an aesthetic perspective, it is less exciting.
There will be more guys like this. Now, will they get to the innings and all that? I don't know. But there will be more guys who have that sort of mentality.
Last of his kind, Nate. Last of his kind.
We're probably not even thinking of a few right now that are younger and doing that.
Nope. Doors closing. You're missing it.
Spooky.
What?
Just my capper to anything this episode.
All right. Springer, we talked about that. Vladdy and Kirk. Yep. All right. Yeah. Anything else World Series related?
No. Go Birds.
Yep.
Yeah. It's been a fun one though.
Yeah.
All right. Still not a lot of league news, but there's a little bit going around. So let's talk through it.
Yeah, Mookie Betts, poor guy. Nothing ever goes his way.
Yeah.
Obviously in the World Series right now, but he just won the 2025 Roberto Clemente Award, which is always a big deal and,
Yeah.
is great for him. And he deserves it also. He is, extremely charitable, extremely lovely person. That is the annoying thing about this version of the Dodgers is that it is easy to like Mookie and Freddie and Shohei and Teo and all these
Yeah.
Kike, all these guys are easy to like, which is, back when the Yankees had A-Rod and those guys, is like, oh, fuck these guys. They seem like a
Yeah.
bunch of assholes, but the Dodgers are not that way.
No. Unless you believe Ohtani is a cheating scumbag.
Which
But other
I'm holding out for that. I'm going to enjoy him right
I
now, but we'll see.
not I should say not cheating like steroids. I mean like gambling and all those
Right.
other things that are like around him.
Maybe a little personality
Interesting.
disorder type thing going on
Maybe a
there.
little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. But I don't know. Mostly he just seems handsome, funny, and talented, which is frustrating. Because
Yeah.
like, I mean, same, but I don't have. Do you see? It was they just he made $102 million this year. 2 million of it was his salary, and 100 million of it was endorsements.
Yeah.
No other player in baseball has endorsement deals above $10 million.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to be
wild.
Shohei. Yeah.
It's good to be Shohei. Yeah. Well, anyway, so Mookie won. That's great. I agree with you. Roberto Clemente Award is awesome. We had Kelsey on the show last year and kind of went deep into a bunch of the nominees and things like that. And it's a good award, and he should feel proud that he won it. And I'm glad that there are guys like that do things with the money and all that they've gotten from the game.
Yeah. The Giants hire an interesting managerial candidate, Tony Vitello. Nate, did you know he's from St. Louis, Missouri?
I did, because you can't be in St. Louis and not hear about every person from St. Louis who has any minor amount of success. It is
so funny.
A key feature of living in St. Louis is, did you know John Hamm is from St. Louis?
Yes.
Everybody. And most people from St. Louis who are famous will reference back to being from St. Louis, ensuring that everyone knows they're from St. Louis.
It is a very funny thing about being from
it's all
St.
a part
Louis.
of the inferiority complex that permeates throughout the entire city. So yes, of course I knew he was from St. Louis.
Yeah. So interesting hire in the sense that he is never touched a major league ball club. He has been the Vols head coach, GM, whatever you want to call him, for years. He's had a tremendous amount of success. And he thinks he can do that same thing in the big leagues. And it's Buster Posey taking a big swing. I think it's very interesting. Obviously, like the college game, the professional game are worlds apart. Like even how you acquire players, everything is completely different. But I like the fact that they are doing something a little bit out of the box. And, the college game is extremely competitive right now. I was reading that apparently he is BFFs with other St. Louisan baseball guy, Max Scherzer. So I'm sure that they've had conversations about what that's going to look like, but it'll be a very interesting thing to track. And I'll see, if this goes well, obviously it's a copycat league. We'll maybe see more of this. And I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I do think that they are worlds apart.
It's an idea.
And I'm not sure it's the move I would make. But it is definitely an idea, and Buster Posey probably knows more than me, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I wonder how much this is inspired by, this happens more regularly in NFL and I believe NBA as well, where the top coaches and the at some of the top programs in the college level will go into the NFL and go back and forth between professional and college level, and I don't think we see that very much in baseball, and I think part of that is, of course, that the NFL is much more aligned with the quality of the game is a lot closer to college, and they're like college is the minor leagues for NFL. So being a college coach is not unlike being a coach for AAA, which is a natural pipeline for coaches in MLB. But NBA is doing it. Coaches are going back and forth. So I'm not surprised to see this happen in MLB. I was a little shocked that I guess I haven't seen this more, or maybe I don't remember it or really pay attention to this sort of thing.
There is no precedent for this right now, at least as far as being a big league manager. Pat Murphy is the only real kind of similar story, but he was obviously in big league benches for years and years before taking on the big time role. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And one other bit of news as far as managers are concerned, the Orioles have found their guy. Craig Albernaz is going to be the Orioles manager moving forward. And to be totally honest with you, Nate, I don't know almost anything about this guy. I know he was a college player, and I know that he has been in the Guardian system from a coaching perspective for a while. Guardians seem to be a pretty good development place, so makes sense. But yeah, I don't really think Brandon Hyde should have been fired in the first place. But here we are, and we got a new name, and we have 2 of the 10 vacancies filled. So that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 new guys to the league, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's almost always just like, oh, this guy was our catcher for 10 years.
Right.
And the Cardinals have done. So it's nice to see some new names and some new faces.
All right. That's all I got for league news, Natey.
All right, Hambone. Well, if you have not caught on yet, we are in spooky season.
Really?
Right? We are at the peak. We are at the climax of spooky season. And I was looking through Baseball Reference the other day, and I started getting really scared at some of the names that I was coming across. And I realized there are some spooky names in baseball. There's some between real names and some nicknames that players have had. There's some very spooky baseball players. So I've got a little game I'm calling Ghoul or Guy.
Wow. This is going to be good.
I have a list of names. You probably see where this is going. I have a list of names.
I do. Yep, I get it.
It is either a real person who had MLB, played in MLB at some point in the history of baseball, or it's the name I made up.
Yeah.
You have to guess. So it's Ghoul or Guy.
Bring it on, Nate.
All right. Here's the first one. Creepy Crespi.
Creepy Crispy. Creeping around the base paths, maybe creeping on other players' wives. It's plausible to me. I'm going to say that that's a real player.
Yes, Frank Creepy Crespi was a player back in like the 30s or 40s.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I don't think you get creepy as a nickname anymore, and like you're still invited around.
No, no, you shouldn't be.
No. Okay. Boo Ferris.
Boo Ferris. Boo Ferris. There's a lot of bows. There's Boogs.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of a man named Boo, though. Boo Radley. Oh, I just proved myself wrong. Okay. I think that Boo Ferris is a real person.
Dave Ferris, known as Boo Ferris.
Wow.
That's right. He is a real guy.
All right.
Frank Killen.
Killen. How do you spell that?
It's just Killen. I realized that when I spell things, you guys were, who was it? It was with Dan.
Yeah.
You guys kept making me spell things. It kind of exposes the game. So it's Frank Killen.
Okay. Frank Killen. I think that's fake.
Frank Killen is real.
Dang.
It's real. Yep.
All right.
Horace Bloodmoon.
I want it to be real, but I don't believe that it is. So I'm going to say it's not real.
Yeah, I shouldn't have started with such a silly one. But yes, Horace Bloodmoon is fake.
It's good, though.
Johnny Dark. Thank you. Johnny Dark.
Johnny Dark. Sounds like a villain or something. Or just a cool guy. I think Johnny Dark, I think that's made up too.
No, that one is real.
Damn.
Let's see. Steve Bone.
Really hit the B on Bone.
Burns.
Yeah, people, that's a name. Sure. That's a real guy.
Steve Bone is real. Ted Ghost.
I don't think that's real. Not real.
No, that one's not real. Enrique El Muerto.
Enrique El Muerto. That's fake.
Yeah. Enrique the Dead Man.
Yeah.
That's fake. Bill Hauntman.
Hauntman. Billy Haunts. I think that's real.
I got you on that one, Hambo, and that
Dang.
one's a fake one.
Good job. Good job.
Got just a couple more for you. Erie Smith.
Erie Smith. I mean, sounds real enough to me.
It's real. Erie Smith. And finally, Urban Shocker.
God. That's not really, I guess, shocker. Oh, I'm shocked. I guess that's spooky. Urban Shocker. I think you are a sick son of a bitch and you made that one up.
No, that's a real one.
Damn
but
it.
I like your little play acting of like, oh, I'm shocked.
Urban
That's
Shocker.
it.
Wow. Nobody's
Urban
named Urban
Shocker.
anymore.
I know.
Huh. Hey, he's from,
is
he was buried in St. Louis. He was born, he died in Denver. And he was buried in
What?
St. Louis. Interesting.
Wow.
God, he died at 37.
That's the ham bone experience right
That's
there.
the scariest thing.
Wait, no, he's born in Denver.
No, he was born in Cleveland, Ohio, died in
okay.
Denver, Colorado. He's buried in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. Wow, what a world traveler.
Yeah.
No, he was only 38 when he died.
That's what I just said. Listen to me for once.
I was too busy working on a joke. I wonder if he like touched a exposed wire or something.
Shocked to death.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was Ghoul or Guy. You did pretty good.
Thanks, Nate.
All right. And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Glad you're back, Hambone. We're both back. We'll be back next week with another episode, just like this week. Go Blue Jays. Don't forget to check out our website, talkingaboutbirds.com, and our Patreon, patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. Shout out to the patrons. And that's going to do it. So we'll wrap up this episode by saying, until next week, go Birds.
Hell yeah. Tweet.